What is going on, everyone? It is your boy Zach here, and man, it's that time of year. It's the Game Awards seasons, and we got to talk about some of these nominees, man. This has been a very, very interesting year when it comes to gaming as a whole, and I figure I can take the time to talk about it. To be honest with you guys, now just like I did in my last Game Awards video back in 2024. I'm going to just talk about some of the categories that I personally care about because there are a lot of nominations here that I personally just don't care to talk about or I don't have much input on. So we're just going to be focusing on the ones that I personally care about the most. All right. So with all that said, let's just jump into this and let's see which one do I want to start off with first. I guess we can go to Game of the Year right out the gate. Like, let's just do it. Game of the Year. Recognize it a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. So that means we have Clair Obscure, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, I almost messed that up there, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. A lot of these games I did not play. I don't care enough to play Death Stranding in general, so that's automatically out of here. I don't have a Switch 2, so I didn't play Donkey Kong Bonanza. I heard Hades was pretty good, but Hades has just never really been a game I've been too interested in playing. I did play the first Hollow Knight. I thought it was pretty fun, but I wouldn't call myself like a major fan of these games. And I haven't played Silk Song. And Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, never cared enough to play it. So the obvious choice is Clay Obscure Expedition 33 because I genuinely love that game so much and it deserves it deserves all the love and respect that it could possibly get. And I even did a whole video on the game. So obviously y'all already know this was going to be my game of the year pick without a doubt and it's obviously going to be my game of the year just in general. So I believe Expedition 33 deserves the game of the year title just in general. I'll be very, very shocked and upset if it's not Expedition 33. Anyways, let's move on. So this is best game direction, which is Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Split Fiction. Um, Now, when it comes to best game direction, I'm gonna give this once again to Expedition 33. I think in terms of like if we're talking about just like the design and the overall direction that they try to take with this game, I feel like they did a pretty good job with Expedition 33 and with what they wanted to do in the game. I mean, sure, some people might have had some issues with the way it was structured, with the story structure at the end of the game. But personally, I still enjoyed it and I still had a good time with it regardless. So, yeah, I think for this one, Expedition 33 is just going to win this one automatically without a doubt. Um, Best narrative. This is Clear Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F. Um, Silent Hill F had a pretty decent story. I felt like it was decent. Ghost of Yotes, don't really care too much. Kingdom Come Deliverance, again, didn't play it. Same thing with Death Stranding. Obviously, I'm not. I don't even know why I'm wasting my time with this. Obviously, you already know it's Expedition 33 all the way for me personally. I love the story, and I really love like the twist that they did at the end of the story. You know, some people might have not liked it, but personally, I loved it a lot, and it made me really appreciate the game so freaking much. Now, I'm trying to be as vague as I possibly can because I don't want to just drop spoilers in here. But yeah, needless to say, best narrative goes to Expedition 33 all the way. Now we have best score music. Hollow Knight, Silk Song, Hades 2, Expedition 33 goes to Yote, and Death Stranding 2. Man, you already know. Expedition 33. I'm just listen. Expedition 33 has a absolutely incredible soundtrack. Probably one of my favorite OSTs I've heard in a very long time, especially when it comes to like RPGs. Like I haven't came across like a music like an OST that hit me so hard ever since like Nier Automata. I think Nier Automata was like the last game where I was just like super blown away by the music, and I was like, man, this hits so hard. And I definitely got that feeling with Expedition 33. The music in that game is is on a whole nother level. Absolutely just crazy. Straight bangers every single one of them. Everything from like, well, actually no, I don't want to spoil nothing. So listen, let's just say the music is great, okay? It's absolutely incredible. All right, so we're gonna move away from that, and then let's go to best action game. Let's talk about that a little bit. Battlefield 6, Doom: The Dark Ages. Oh man, I did this game come out this year? I thought this game came out last year. Maybe I'm thinking about another Doom game. Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Now, this one is very interesting. Ultimately, for me, this is going to go down to between Ninja Gaiden 4 and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Um, I have heard a lot of good things about Ninja Gaiden 4, and some people are kind of mixed about this game. Some people really like it, some people really don't like it. I haven't yet to play Ninja Gaiden 4 myself, but I have played Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and it's a pretty underrated game. That game is really solid. So ultimately, as much as I want to give it a Ninja Gaiden 4, I simply just have not played the game yet to give it that rank and to give it my vote. So I'm going to go with Shinobi Art of Vengeance here. Um, Moving on here, we have. I don't want to do that one. Best action, action slash venture. I'm not interested in that one. Now let's talk about best RPG. Now this one is a category that I do have quite a bit to say on here, and that is Avowed, Clear Obscura Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. Now, right out the gate, since you guys know that I am a JRPG channel slash Muso channel and stuff, you guys already know that I have heard some people being upset that Trails was not represented at all in the Game Awards, and some people were disappointed by that. And I'm just gonna keep it honest with you guys when it comes to that. I'm not entirely shocked that Trails in the Sky was not represented at all, just because of the fact that when it comes to a lot of anime games, if it's not like a big one like Persona or Final Fantasy, it's very rare to see anime games get the true respect that they actually deserve. And I have no doubt that there's definitely some stigma when it comes to JRPGs, which is why I think it's kind of crazy that I do think that that people having a major stigma towards JRPGs in general is kind of crazy in my opinion, especially when there's been so many great ones that's been coming out. But you know how it is when it comes to like the mainstream gaming audience and stuff like that. These kind of games, it's just really hard to sell Trails to the mainstream audience, in my personal opinion. I think it's not impossible, but it's going to be really hard to sell a lot of people into these kind of games when you have like a whole series that's all about like interconnected stories, massive world building, that also includes a lot of reading on top of that as well. No, but in all seriousness though, I think Trails of the Sky the First should have definitely been on this list, especially considering the fact that it was one of the most highest rated games period in 2025. But it's not on here unfortunately, so it is what it is. Um, Now let's actually talk about one of the nominees. One of the nominees I wanted to talk about, and I'm super disappointed by, is Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds, I wish I could vote for this. I just can't because this is probably one of the very first Monster Hunter games I played where I was just legitimately disappointed. Like first off, like the gameplay and everything. This is like one of the very first Monster Hunter games where I felt like I was just playing on autopilot. Like everything just felt so like easy and just like so optimized to the point where it kind of took away a little bit of the fun away from the game. Because you know, with the thing about previous Monster Hunter games, some people might not like it, but I love the older Monster Hunter games for having like that slow progression type of system where it's like, okay, you go like collecting herbs or whatever, and then you eventually like, you know, you work your way up to fighting small monsters, then you fight medium-sized monsters, then you fight the giant monsters, and then you get into the crazy stuff like the elder monsters and all that stuff, or the elder dragon, sorry. You know, like you just worked your way up and it felt so satisfying to do that. I didn't get that same satisfaction with Monster Hunter Wilds. especially, and then oh man, the story was also I did not like that story either. Whilst that story mode really hurt the experience for me, in my personal opinion, it was just like, ugh, I can't, I couldn't do it. So obviously, needless to say, best RPG has to go to Expedition 33. Loved my experience with Expedition 33. Honestly, one of the best RPGs I played in years. All right, now let's go on to another one that I think I have a lot of opinions on. And that is best fighting game. So we have 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and then Virtual Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. All right, so let's just talk about one each of them. 2XKO didn't bother to play. Capcom Fighting Collection 2, I actually put in a good amount of time into. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I just did not like this game. Now, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the fact that this game has beautiful looking graphics. If anything, I think this is probably the best looking 3D SNK game, period. But I think what really held this game back for me was really just the gameplay. I just couldn't get into it that much, and I don't know. Everything else about it was just kind of like about it. I wasn't a big fan of it. If anything, I still much prefer King of Fighters 15 and Samurai Showdown over Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. I think those games are way more fun in comparison. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I've heard that the collection was an absolute mess, so I think it's kind of crazy that it's on here. Virtual Fire 5 Revo World Stage. Once again, I don't. I mean, the thing about Virtual Fire, I like Virtual Fighter. It's just that this is Virtual Fighter 5 for like the 50th time. So, I don't really know if I really want to vote for a game that's been out like 200 different times already. Um, this category, I'm gonna keep it real, child. This category sucks. It really is. And what I also find funny is that both Bleach Rebirth of Souls and Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles 2 are not in this list. I would have much preferred they put them on the list. Because my thing is that if you put Dragon Ball Sparking Zero as best fighting game last year, then why not just throw in the other anime games in this category as well? I think that would be it makes way more sense to have those games on there versus two remasters of games. Like the Capcom Fight Collection 2. Again, it's just a collection of older fighting games that have already been out. Same thing with Mortal Kombat. These are both collections. I mean, honestly, if we're going to start throwing in remasters into these nominations, we should just start making a new category. Like, why don't we just make like a best remasters category and celebrate the games that have like the best remasters and the best like additions added onto them and stuff like that. I think that could literally be its own category because it's not like there isn't a whole bunch of remasters being put out nowadays. I think there's a whole bunch. Like we get remasters all the time. So I think at this point you might as well just make a category for them. But no, like really, I would much rather have. You know what I would do personally? I would have taken out the remasters and put in Bleach Rebirth of Souls and Demon Slayer into this category. And then if those two were in the category, I might have picked Demon Slayer. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. I mean, I know some people don't like the fact that, oh, well, they're both arena fighters and stuff, but it doesn't change the fact that they're still fighting games at the end of the day. You know, if Dragon Ball and Smash Brothers are allowed to be included in the fighting games category, then I think these games can also be accepted as fighting games. They're just different types of fighting games at the end of the day. So, I mean, ultimately, this list is super just like this is not a great sight to look at. And to be honest, 2025 was not a great year for fighting games in general. And honestly, I'm pretty sure I voted for Capcom Fight Collection 2, just because that's like the only fighting game I played in 2025 that I legitimately had a lot of fun with. And not to mention, this collection has a lot of amazing hidden gems in here. Games like Plasma Sword, Project Justice, Power Stone. Man, Power Stone was so fire. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in that collection that I would highly recommend for people to kind of like just to jump into and enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Um, let's see. We'll do some filler categories here, then I'm gonna just call it a day. Best content creator. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't really watch content creators like that. I personally don't care. We'll say. I guess I'll say voice critical, just because. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch people's stuff like that when it comes to main content creators. Oh yeah, I did want to talk about best debut indie game. Um, was it best debut? Well, since we're on here, I might as well just talk about it. Best debut indie game. That obviously goes to Expedition 33. There was another one I wanted to talk about. Yeah, okay, this was the one I really wanted to talk about. Best indie game. Um, this is the one category I feel like Expedition 33 should have just not been on, because it feels a little bit unfair to a lot of these other indie games that it was included on here. You know, I say that, but I haven't even bothered mentioning the other games here. So obviously, Expedition 33, Absolum, Ball X Pit, Blueprints, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. This is the one category I feel like Expedition 33 should not be on, even though I guess you could argue it is technically an indie game. But in my opinion, I I would give it to Absolum, because this game is actually pretty cool. It's basically like a beat 'em up mixed in with like an RPG, and I've seen a lot of great things about it, and the gameplay looks super sick too. So I definitely want to get my hands on this one. But yeah, I feel like another game deserves this a lot more than Expedition 33, especially since 33 has like a billion other different categories already. Um, and then we got best performances. Speaking of Expedition 33, you're going to be hearing 33 a whole lot in this video if it wasn't obvious by now. We have Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, Erica Ishii, Jennifer English, Kanatsu Kato, and Troy Baker. Um, Ultimately, this is going to be up to the three Expedition voice actors. This is the hardest part right here. Man, this is actually kind of tough between Ben Starr, Charlie, and Jennifer English. For those of you guys who don't know, Ben Starr is Verso, Charlie Cox is Gustav, and Jennifer English is Bael. This is going to be a very difficult pick for me. Now, I will say the two people I felt like should have deserved a nomination on here was Lune and Renor. I'm kind of shocked that those two were not also included on here. A little bit disappointed by that, because I feel like those two also did a amazing job with their characters as well. But I mean, if you had to only pick three from one game, then I guess this would be the lineup you would pick, because all three of them are fantastic. Honestly, I think everybody who voiced it Expedition 33 just did a fantastic job in general. So it really is kind of tricky for me between these three. Um, you know what? I feel like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I chose Ben Starr for this one. I'm gonna have to go with him, because the thing about Ben Starr is that he just does such an amazing job as Verso, and I think his character was just really good. He really hit. He really did his thing with Verso, man. And not to mention, Ben Starr is also the voice actor of Clive from Final Fantasy 16. So it makes a lot of sense that Verso would also, like, he would do such an amazing job with Verso, since Verso and Clive kind of have like a, not necessarily like a similar background, but they kind of do. So yeah, that's pretty much all the nominations I just wanted to talk about and give my 2 cents on. Overall, you guys know how this Game Award stuff is. Sometimes the games that we want to be represented don't always get represented here, and ultimately it's up to us, the players, to actually talk about these games and to give the games that we enjoy and love some actual representation, and put them out there so that way everybody else can know about these games and try them out as well. And I would encourage the same thing for a lot of Trails fans to do the same with the first. I mean, they already have been doing it, because the amount of attention that it's getting is pretty big in the JRPG space. But I'm just saying, I think that's the most we can do for right now, and just kind of spread the word out there for a lot of these like underrated titles and stuff that might have not gotten the representation. For example, Digimon Time Strangers was not included in here. Dynasty Warriors Origins was also not included in here as well. And those are two games I feel like should have absolutely deserved to have some type of nominations here. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and ramble on a bit about the Game Awards, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So, yeah, with all that said, this is your boy Kazak, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.